You wouldn't starve your cat, so why are you starving your plants? Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Roos. I'm a houseplant lover from the Netherlands, and I love sharing my plants and the things I learn about them with you guys. In this video, that's what we're doing. We're gonna talk about fertilizing because it is the season, it is spring here, and the plants really wanna be fed. And funny story, fertilizers actually used to scare me a lot. I didn't know what I was doing. I read these horror stories of burning the roots. I didn't know when to do it or how much to use it or how often to use it. So that's why I thought, why not have me make this video for you, because I had to learn everything and I'm happy to share it with you. I also took some of your questions about this on my Instagram and I'll be answering them at the end of the video. I've also put timestamps below so that you can actually look up the specific question that you have or come back to it when you need it, and it's a little bit more organized. While you're there, why not already give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet? I always forget to say this, but it's really helpful if you do that at the beginning of the video. If you want to do that, thank you so much. The most important thing when it comes to fertilizing is do it. Just start, try it, your plants will thank you. I personally use liquid gold leaf. I've been using this for over a year now and I've had some amazing results. Apparently it contains every essential plant nutrient, including calcium, which apparently is very important for plant growth. And I definitely noticed a lot of growth on my plants in this past year, which I'll also be showing you in this video later on. And this video is sponsored by Liquid Gold Leaf, which is amazing because I've been talking about them and sharing about them for a long time, ever since I had such amazing success. So yay for getting paid. Thank you, Liquid Gold Leaf. I'm not an expert at the techniques behind this, the technicalities behind it, but I'm gonna try in this video to explain it to you. So the big question is how to use it. A lot of you actually also asked this in the Instagram question box. And funny story, that will always be explained on the bottle. So there's always, whatever brand you use, it will say how much you have to use per liter usually. I'll show you how I do that with this stuff specifically. But first, while we're looking at the bottle, you can always see on your bottle what the NPK ratio is. I've talked about this in a previous video. If you want to check that out here, I'll explain a little bit more. NPK stands for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And the NPK of Liquid Gold Leaf is 9, 5, 16, which is pretty high. It's a very concentrated mixture, which I like because it means that you'll use less plastic, because a bottle will last you a really long time. And it also means that you'll have to be very specific with measuring, which makes it a little bit more effort to use, I would say. Is you measure out 2 millimeters per liter of water. Or if you're using hydroponics, which I'll talk about in a little bit, you'll use a little bit less. You'll have to know how much goes into your watering can. For example, this one says at the bottom, 1.7. Wait, 1.7? I've been using it like it was less. Oops. Anyway, it's okay because normally I mix it up in this one and it very clearly says that there are 5 liters in here. I actually get rainwater from my garden and I let it sit in front of the heater to warm up a little bit. I don't want to shock my plants with freezing water, especially in winter. I'll come back to the rainwater part in a moment, but first let's just start. And very important to shake well. When you open it, it doesn't smell. We'll come back to that as well. So 2 milliliters is up to halfway, and I'll need to do that 5 times because there's 5 liters in here. So we'll go ahead and measure.
A few moments later.
And that's 5. It might be not the easiest to use, but it does have great results. So one of the things that I noticed last year as I started using this for the first time was not only the amazing growth in my plants, but also that they were doing something that you don't often see in aeroids, which is splitting the stem. Can you see it here? Splitting the stem into more than one growth point. So I have a few plants here that did that for me. And I'm not saying that it's a good thing always, because here you can see this Birkin. It actually split, I think, into 3. Hey, Maggie! I was hiding the boxes from you guys, but she's found them. She loves the boxes. More Maggie footage in the bloopers. Stay tuned. Okay, back to the plants. So in this case, the second growth didn't continue, unfortunately. So the plant obviously only had energy in the end for one growth. I feel like this spring they haven't done this so much. It might have been the first season of using liquid gold leaf. My plants were just in massive shock finally being fed for the first time, and then also with something very effective. We have Mushu here, which he's looking very sad, so that's why I'm air layering him to save him. He started rotting. I think I let him get too cold in the winter, unfortunately. But here you can also see, back in the day, he also split into two. Unfortunately, that growth point, once again, didn't make it and looks very bad, just like this regular growth point because of the cold. But he did split his stem, which is so weird for aroids to do. Naturally, they will try and grow in one stem. But then here, luckily, we also have a successful example of what happened. Although you can't really see it anymore because I repotted this plant to go a little bit deeper into the soil and possibly create some babies for me. But here you can see 3 stems, right? 3 Alocasia cuprea stems. This was actually 2 plants. So these have split into 2. One of them split into 2 and successfully kept growing, which I thought was incredible because this is one of my favorite plants. It's so beautiful, and obviously this plant is very happy with the feed that it's been getting. And so it might be good to know that when... Hold on. What's happening, Maggie? What are you doing? Can you tell why I'm distracted? She's being so adorable. Anyway, normally you hear that you have to stop fertilizing in winter, which makes sense if your plants are outside, because when a plant stops growing, then you don't want to feed it, or you don't want to feed it too much. So what I do is I look at the specific plants. If they have stopped their growth, then I stop feeding from like November till spring when you see active growth again. But when your plants keep growing, certain plants of mine have never stopped for winter, then you don't have to stop feeding because active growth means that it's okay to feed. Because of the warmth in our houses, it doesn't feel like winter to some plants. So it doesn't have to mean that you stop feeding. I'm in the jungle now. So another important question is, how often do you fertilize? Because you may have heard the stories of burning your roots, but you have regular fertilizers and then you have organic fertilizers. And if you use too much or you use it too often, it will burn the roots. And that is from salt buildups from those fertilizers, and those salts burn the roots. Organic fertilizers don't have this or have this less. But by the way that liquid gold leaf is created, it actually doesn't have this issue. So you can feed your plants every week or whenever you're watering. I have been doing it with every watering except in winter when I slowed it down a little bit. But even in summer, when I'm watering my plants here in this south-facing window every other day or so, because it gets really, really warm here, the moisture just evaporates. It doesn't even get taken up by the plants, I think. Either way, I haven't seen any damage or burning or scorching of my plants. So it's really nice to know that you can't use it too much. Of course, you can overwater your plants, so keep an eye out on that. Focus more on the amount of water. And then when you're watering, when your plants are thirsty, add in the liquid gold leaf and you'll be golden. And it's actually time for some of these plants to be watered, so let's just do that. We have just created our mixture, why not? And while we're here watering this side of the plants, it's good to know that this part of the video will get quite technical, of course infused with lots of plant updates. But if you prefer to skip, check the timestamps below to skip to a part that does interest you. And I don't blame you if you want to skip because it is a lot and it took me a long time to understand it, so no hate. I want to talk to you about tap water versus rainwater, or letting your water sit. Because if you've been looking around houseplant advice, you probably have read that tap water can be too hard for your plants. So people either let it sit for a day or let it boil, or use rainwater, of course, if you have access to that, because it can be damaging to your plants. With liquid gold leaf, you don't have to worry about it because apparently the mixture creates a safe water for your plants. And I'm going to talk a little bit technical while I water the plants. It's hard for me to do two things at the same time, so we're going to try. Oh, my hair has turned into Linearis hair. What do you think? It's finally growing, by the way, this one. It went dormant for winter, or it didn't grow because I got it in winter. And finally I get to see new leaves on it. So one of the things that liquid gold leaf does is it optimizes the pH level in the water. Especially if you are familiar with hydroponics or semi-hydroponics, passive hydroponics, they often have to measure the pH level and then adjust it in the water before they do anything else. You don't have to do that when you use liquid gold leaf because it has that technology already inside, which is kind of handy. Not that I've ever been aware of the pH on my water, but if you're into that, then it's very good to know. And connected to that is EC, which means electrical conductivity, and it talks about the amount of parts in the water. I hope you're still with me, by the way. This was very confusing for me to try and learn and understand. So apparently the EC and the pH actually work together a lot, and liquid gold leaf has a very low number of EC parts in the water for the amount of nutrients that it offers, which means that the water is easier for the plant to take in. This is my visualization of it. The water is not so dense, so it's easier to take up, but it still contains all the nutrients that you need. I hope that made sense. If you want to learn more, let me know in the comments and I'll try and explain it even more. Also, the sunshine is coming out. Very good for your plants and very good for yourself. Happy vibes all around. Watering Vicky. Vicky's looking beautiful. Look at this new leaf. This was the top cutting and it's finally looking really nice. The mother plant has gone really, really tall, so I'm not super excited about that. The winter growth is definitely very different. The internodes are very long. Let's water this little beauty behind me as well. Ooh. Okay, there's more I have to explain to you. Wait. So pH and EC are friends and important, although you don't really have to remember this if it's too confusing. I might not remember it. But also, like I explained, there can be free chlorine in tap water. This is the official terms of what I just said about the tap water. The free chlorine that is in there is immobilized by the technology of liquid gold leaf. And as you can tell by me trying to explain this, it is very researched, very technical. That part doesn't necessarily interest me. So if you have questions about them, I'm happy to pass them on to the owner, Ian. But for me, I just look at my plants, I try something out, I see the results, and I decide it's good or it's not good. So it's up to you whether you want to learn all about this, if you're into that stuff, or if you just want to trust me and try it out and see for yourself. That's also okay. So another question is it good for semi-hydroponics or passive hydroponics? And the answer is yes. This product was actually created for hydroponics, so pure water growing, and it's really effective for all different kinds of medium. It is good to know that you have to do a different solution for semi-hydroponics, which is 0.5 millimeter per liter. But I have to admit, I don't have many plants in semi-hydro, but I've got this Syngonium in perlite, and I've actually always watered this with the regular 2 milliliters per liter. The plant is pretty happy. It's been growing roots like crazy, but I actually should pay a little bit more attention because I have quite a few Hoyas actually growing in semi-hydro as well. They are in either Ceramis or perlite. I may have one left in leca. I don't really like leca myself, but look at this beautiful Clementiorum, which has grown from this tiny one node cutting with 2 leaves. It has grown a tendril, it has grown 1 leaf. For so far, they are more prone to growing tendrils in my care than leaves, but I hope that was just winter and hopefully spring will bring some more energy into this plant. And of course, the fertilizer will definitely help. By the way, I created this shelf recently with a heat mat and in one of my new grow lights to make sure that I have enough space because I'm rooting and growing all my caladiums again in the back there. So I have even less space than normal. So I'm just gonna water those as well. They are in soil, so I'm okay to use this, even though I might secretly still water the... Don't tell Ian. I'm watering the plants in semi-hydro with the regular mixture. Don't follow my advice. Does anyone else water their plants and then one leaf is in the way and the water goes everywhere except in the actual plant? Here's my other Hoya shelf, and in my memory I actually watered these recently, and obviously you don't want to water your Hoyas too much, they like to dry out, but this beautiful caudata is bone dry. Whoops! These are all okay. Apparently only the caudata is drying out a lot, which, by the way, if your plant is drying out much faster than before or much faster than your other plants, it might mean that it needs a repot, that it's in too small of a pot. A big question is where you buy this, because it seems to be a little bit hard to get. It's actually not, and they are working on improving it even more, because this company is from the UK, so you can buy it on liquidgoldleaf.co.uk if you are in the UK, but with Brexit, it's become a little bit more tricky. And they're actually working with a lot of different European retailers now so that you can easily get this, and the shipping costs aren't super high because you'll have to import from the UK. It's kind of weird now. And two shops that you can get this from the Netherlands, which both of them I really like, are Planting Inc. and orchids.nl with a Z. I'll link them in the description as well so you can find them. And my friends in the States actually also use this, so it's definitely also available in the US. I personally don't know how because I'm in Europe, so I've never looked that up. But if you know, please comment below where you get your liquid gold leaf in the US or in other parts of the world so that people can read through the comments and learn. Maybe we can make a little thread. I'll do a pinned comment where I say, where do you get yours and where in the world are you? The other question is, how much does it cost? And that I think depends a lot on the retailer and also in the place where you are.
I checked for you, and here in Holland it's sold for about 20 euros per bottle.
Which may sound like a lot if you're used to other fertilizers, but it is very economical in use. Like you saw before, it's 2 millimeters per liter of water for your indoor plants. And actually it is a little bit more if you want to use it on your outdoor plants. They recommend to use 4 milliliters per liter for outdoor plants. And if you look at my outdoor watering can here, this has got, it can go up to 13 liters. I don't because it's old and broken, but I think there's about 12 liters in here times 4 milliliters. That's quite a lot of product. So it is really, really good for the plants, but you may want to find another one for outdoor plants depending on your budget. I actually will measure this up now for our outdoor plants because we have a greenhouse now and my boyfriend loves outdoor plants. So we're gonna give the palms some extra feed this week. So let's measure that out. 12 times 4 is 48, which is a lot. And for outdoor, I actually figured out it's more effective to use some of my kitchen measuring tools. So we're gonna go for just under 50. All right, let's go water the outdoor plants. Ooh, this is heavy, you can't see it. So why is this product so good, so effective? I can only tell you from my experience that it works, but I looked up some facts to maybe understand together a little bit better why it is so good. And it is, like I told you already, there's a lot of technology behind it. There's a lot of research behind it. They have taken years, literally years, to find the perfect combination of product. Okay, I wrote this down for myself to understand better, so these are my words, but I just can't remember to say them in the right order. And you might learn some new terms here. Chelates make it easier for plants to find certain nutrients and to be able to take them up well. And chelates are actually naturally found in the plant. It's a system which helps plants to move nutrients throughout the plants, if I understand correctly. I'm sure you can tell by now that I was not a biology or a chem major. I actually did languages and history. I hope this makes sense. So liquid gold leaf is chelated, apparently it's also a verb, with organic acids which help to prevent scorch and protect the plant from rain, basically. Precipitation. New word also for me. And those organic acids are actually really important for several things. New piece of paper. They are a biostimulant to boost growth and overcome dormancy in plants. And also they are a food source for beneficial microbes. And you may have heard me talking about beneficial insects. Those are like the big brothers of the beneficial microbes. The microbes live around the roots and they protect them. They eat organic acids that are in the roots. When they are there, they're protecting your roots from other stuff that can eat the roots. I actually noticed when I first started using it that in my Hoyas, I noticed all these bugs in the soil. You may remember this from my Instagram page. Turns out they were good bugs. My plants all of a sudden had good bugs in them and I never put these there. They actually came in. So by making the soil really healthy through, for example, these organic acids, it attracts good bugs, which is amazing because good bugs eat bad bugs. And as you may know from my other videos, check them here, I have had a lot of bad bugs. I currently have 2 types of thrips. I just found them this morning. I have California thrips on my monsteras and zebra thrips on my marantas. apparently they like different things. So it's very, very important that your plants are as healthy as possible. And in my experience, liquid gold leaf not only helps the plants to grow, but also to keep them safe and protected and just living their best life, basically. It's like they're eating green smoothies every day. That is how I feel about liquid gold leaf. I used to start every day with a green smoothie that actually tasted nice. So I might make a video about it if you're interested. Let me know in the comments. A few more things. It is also fully soluble. Soluble, how do you pronounce that? So there's no sludge in the bottom of your watering cans afterwards. It's good for all growing systems, all the way from leca and semi-hydro and even hydroponics to soil. And it has the lowest levels of toxic heavy metals that they measured from all the fertilizers that they measured. That's enough technical talk. Let's get back to something practical that you guys have asked. What about foliar spray? For foliar spray, they recommend you use 0.5 milliliter per liter, which actually means that for a small spray bottle like this, which is only 0.7 liters, we need like 3/4 of 0.5 milliliter. So that is maybe like this much, which is kind of difficult to measure out. So it's a little bit specific. 0.5 milliliter is there. So for per liter, you do that. But if you have a small spray bottle, it's only this. Whoosh. Ready. So here we are at my terrarium. This is where I mostly use my foliar spray and in my tent upstairs, because certain plants I feel like prefer to be not watered too often. So then it's really useful to use a foliar spray, because then they can take up the nutrients through the leaves rather than in the soil, and you don't want to water them too much. So actually in the terrarium, I currently don't have a humidifier, which is kind of annoying, but the donuts keep breaking on me. So I actually decided to not buy any fresh ones, because literally some would only last a day. I took them off my recommended page as well because they just suck. If you have advice, I'm still looking for a humidifier that would work in a high humid environment already, so it wouldn't break, it doesn't get rust, and it's small enough to fit in here. Another good example of this is this fan, which has a USB connector, which obviously over time is gonna rust and stop working, which is what happened to the last one I had. So if you have tips, please tell me in the comments below. What I do is this one, every morning I go in, I spray all of my plants until the water drops off the leaves. So you have to spray quite a lot. There's such beautiful plants in here. I should film another terrarium tour for you guys, because there are some special babes in here. That's basically it. It's very simple. I've been using it every day, just making sure that my tiny little orchids are okay. These do like to be watered enough, but they don't want to have water on the leaves, because then they will just die off. I also noticed that there is some leftover white spots on my leaves afterwards, which is not necessarily bad, but it's good to know that that can happen from using foliar spray. What they advise is that you can use it whenever you want. I use it daily, like I said, and I don't see any damage or scorching or whatever you could have from foliar spray. So it's safe to use whenever you want, except when it's really hot or if there is direct sun on the leaves, then don't use it. So that's really good to remember for summer. I kind of forget sometimes, but direct sun or really hot temperatures, don't use it. Making sure that you have some kind of fan on or airflow, because if there is water that stays on these leaves and on the anthuriums, then they're not going to be very happy. So airflow is really, really important. It's really, really nice in here. So even though we have the humidifier in here, which is switching on because the door is open, I do spray with the foliar spray, because especially plants like the melanochrysum, I don't water them often because they stay quite wet in here, but they do want, you can see the chlorosis a little bit on the leaves, which means she's hungry. He's hungry, actually, it's a he. And the spraying obviously also can help with leaves that are stuck, which has happened because I didn't have a humidifier in here before. I hope you can hear me while I'm spraying away. So that's Mel. And this is Matt, the Metallicum. Making sure that the drip actually ends up in the tent and not on my leg. Here's the new leaf. Oh, it's still dripping on. on my leg. I like to spray the moss around the stem because that's where the roots will grow as well. Here is a secret plant I haven't showed you yet. It will come. There's some more secret plants right here. And the babies, look at those beautiful melano babies. Spraying on all sides until it drifts down. I actually want to show you them up close a little bit more. So here are the melano propagations, which as you can see are doing amazing. This leaf got a little bit stuck, but that's okay. This leaf is nice and dark already, and others are still very pinkish. It's hard to show the color with this bright light, but I hope you know what I mean. Then down here we have my varicosum props. These are all Vicky babies that I took from stem cuttings. Look at that beautiful leaf. I haven't sprayed this one yet, so you don't know this plant yet, so I'm not going to show you up close. But here is a baby Caspar. I will show you that plant up close, but in a different video, in a whole video that I'm planning. This is a Caspar baby, which was looking a little bit sad. So he's getting a little bit of extra attention in here. We have a obliqua in the back here, which also likes to be sprayed. This is Monstera obliqua Bolivian form, so not the cool form. I think it's very cool, but it's not the popular form. You can see can you see? There's a new leaf right there growing. I got this with one leaf, which is down here and yellowing, and it since has grown 4 leaves for me. And I got this not too long ago, so it's actually a very, very fast grower. Might have to give this a better moss ball soon. It's just on a little stick, wooden stick. And that's all I have to say on foliar spray. Oh wait, that rhymes. That's pretty bad. My babies, they're so beautiful. Ooh, favorite place. Time to get to your questions. I asked Ian some of your questions, the owner of Liquid Gold Leaf, because he obviously knows a lot more about this stuff than I do. And the first question is about Calathea. Someone says that they've heard that too much nitrogen in a fertilizer is not necessarily good for Calatheas, and whether Liquid Gold Leaf would be good for them. And Ian answered this question. He said that it's not about the amount of nitrogen in the mix, but it's about how readily available it is and how easy it is for the plant to absorb it, which is really good in Liquid Gold Leaf. So it shouldn't give you the scorch on your plants, on your Calatheas, that other fertilizers might. The next question is about moss propagation and if you can use this fertilizer on your moss propagation. I also asked this one to Ian and he says yes, use it once a week with the 0.5 millimeter measurements per liter. Next question is if it's good for all plants. This person specifically wants to know for monsteras and philodendron, and I would say absolutely. My experience, especially with my philodendron and my monsteras, has been amazing. Also my alocasias, like I showed you earlier. But my monstera Ferry, who's behind me here, I grew him from a 1 node cutting, which I got back in November 2019. And it is now March, end of March 2021. And you can see how huge he is. I always get comments about how beautiful and big my monstera is. People actually stop on the street to look at him, which is always really fun. I'll wave at them and be like, we like plants together, yay. It's very random, but yes, I've had amazing results also with my Hoyas, with my Anthurium. I've been talking too long, you guys. I hope you don't mind my stuttering. But yes, I would say it's good for all plants. This next question actually made me giggle. Someone asked, is it possible to store the solution once you've mixed it into the water? Because he's questioning whether it's starting to smell. And I've definitely had that experience as well. It's definitely started to smell in my house when I kept it a little bit too long. So I recommend measuring out how much water you will need for the plants that you need to water, and then measuring in the Liquid Gold Leaf, and not doing a full, I don't know, heater, what's the word? Watering can, and then realizing that you only needed a little bit and having your house smell like a sewer for a few days, which happened to me. So apparently it's because there are no conservatives. Is that the right word? I actually just learned that it's preservatives, not conservatives, so excuse my language throughout this video. Which I guess I like, because conservatives are something that isn't necessarily natural, so I hope you guys know what I mean, because that might not be the right word. Conservatives. Not like Republicans, but okay. Next question. The last question is, how is it different from other brands? And especially someone asked about Plagron. I don't know how to pronounce that one, which I never tried out because I heard about it after I started using liquid gold leaf and I was really happy with the results. So why change a winning team? But if you guys have experience with it, definitely let us know in the comments below so others can read as well. I did hear that it has something to do with mixing different ingredients together, so it might be a little bit more complicated, but I'm not quite sure. That's just from seeing it on Instagram, basically. And someone else asked, how is it different from Pokon, which is a brand I've mentioned on my channel before and which I have worked with before as well. And I would say it depends on what you want for your plant care. Do you have a lot of time? Do you like it to be really new? Or do you prefer it to be a little bit more easy and accessible? Pokon is more easily available, at least here in the Netherlands. And to buy a bottle, it's a little bit cheaper. But like I said, it's very economical. So, oh, the sun is out. It's very economical, so in price, it might end up being the same. It might be a little bit easier to use as well because you don't need the pipette to measure things out. And it doesn't smell after a few days if you've mixed it up. But it is a more traditional composition of a fertilizer when this is more new and different. So it's just up to you what you prefer, what you want to try out. I definitely recommend just trying it out for yourself. That's what I did as well with different fertilizers, and I'm very happy that I did. I really hope that this video was useful to you and that you learned something maybe. Thank you so much to Liquid Gold Leaf for sponsoring this video and for Ian as well for answering you guys' questions. Very happy to have some help with those. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and consider joining my Patreon or my YouTube membership. It's not only a lovely community of people, but they also get early access to videos and they get a say in what video I'm going to create first. But either way, if you're joining or not, I'm really happy and thankful that you're here and that you're watching my content and that you're leaving all these lovely comments. So thank you so much. It's like I'm praying to you guys. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you again soon. Happy feeding your plants. Let me know how it goes and I'll see you again soon. Bye friends. Okay, I just recorded the full video and then I noticed that I didn't press record. So this sucks. Welcome to the bloopers. I asked, apparently this contains, but they're all full with other boxes, baby. You're gonna try and go in anyway? Go, you can try. I'll move this one out of the way. There we go. Happy Maggie in a box. I don't know the technique. Thank you. Kom eens met je koppie. Hey, Micey. Hey, my beautiful cat. Don't listen to, so. The life of a plant parent is very difficult. Oh, geez, this is dry. So thank you. On plan. So at least there are bloopers now. Ah, wrong. There are some Mickey. I also bringing out this big box. Hey. And a new plant that you haven't seen yet. Secrets. You may have seen it by now. Isn't it cute? Maggie thinks it's very cute.